Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our podcast.
Today we're covering the wild film from Dreamworks, Madagascar, featuring Rascal Family member Andrew Flores.
Hello, everybody.
Now, when 4 zoo animals are accidentally shipped to the wilds of Madagascar,
Well, credits.
Alex, Marty, Melman, and Gloria travel across the world in the most bizarre adventures, and they really are, to get back to their home of New York City.
Yeah, and before we start with that, be sure to like, subscribe, and click notification with the updates on future podcasts and World of Paws videos.
Absolutely. We have been wanting to do this for so long, so we have to give thanks to Andrew for actually getting us to finally do this podcast.
Yes.
So, what is it that you love about Madagascar?
Well, what I like about Madagascar is like it shows friendship,
Oh, that's true.
and like no matter where you are, you're always safe with your friends.
Yeah, that's actually a really great message that you don't really see a lot of nowadays. So yeah, that's a good point.
And when this movie came out, it was very different for the type of movie it was. There hadn't been one made like this in animation. So it was really a huge hit, and then we got another one, and then we got another one, and then the Penguins got a spinoff.
Yeah, it was like, wow, it's Madagascar fever.
I like to
I
move
would
it,
really
move
wish
it.
that instead of the Penguins in Madagascar, they did Madagascar 4, but I'm still alright with that.
Oh yeah, people are like, is there gonna be a fourth one? It's like, I kind of thought how the third one ended was gonna be like, oh, is that it? Then they got a penguin spinoff. It's like, what would they do with the number 4? Would be the big question.
And don't forget King Julian with his spinoff.
He got a series.
Yeah, so
Yeah, the Netflix spin-off show.
Yeah, so it was like, oh my gosh, who isn't getting a series in this universe?
And
But-
they also made the babies version.
Oh
my
yes,
gosh.
the one on Hulu where they're little cubs.
That's right.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that one.
But you have to admit that they were smart enough to stay with the momentum. They didn't wait 10 years later and decide to do it. They were smart enough to keep the momentum going.
Right? To be like, wait, Madagascar 3 after 15 years.
So, who's your favorite character?
Okay, definitely King Julian.
Oh
my gosh.
I like to move it, move
I like
it.
to move it.
Yeah, I like to move it. What do you like to?
Move it.
Oh,
Okay.
he's like Aquafina. He kind of took over the movie.
Right, the song and everything has now become iconic with this film. We know it's by like somebody else, but it's synonymous now with King Julian and this film now. And it's funny because you remember the song, even if you don't hear it for years, you'll still remember it. Like I didn't listen for like over 10 years, and I still remember the lyrics to it.
Wait, can I tell you guys a fun fact?
Absolutely.
Yes.
In the Spanish dub of Madagascar, the voice actor Wreck-It Ralph also voices King Julian in Spanish.
Really?
Oh my gosh. Ooh, I never knew that one.
I didn't
Oh.
either. Okay. Physically fit. Okay, stop.
When you sing the whole song, I wish the podcast.
Oh, you know how it goes through my head.
Right.
So
That
King,
song is still stuck in your head over the years.
Right.
so his is King Julian. Who's your favorite character?
I think it's kind of a tie between Alex and Marty, because I like them separately, but I really like them more together. Especially with the irony that, it's supposed to be predator and prey, but they're best friends, and that never comes into play until they're actually put into that situation in the movie. They never see each other as enemies. They're just best friends for years.
Yes.
They're alpha twins.
Which one is Bennett?
I can kind of see Rascal as Marty and Bennett as Alex.
There's
Yes,
the answer.
that's it. That's it.
I mean, that's why Marty is my favorite.
Good point.
He's just so goofy and he doesn't, it's like every time something would go wrong, it's like he's ready to hightail it, ready to take off. And I was like, you can't do it, but. But if Alex was going to do it, then here he was.
Right?
So what would you guys say makes Madagascar stand out as a movie all these years later, and I'm speaking specifically of the first one, not the franchise itself. So memorable and so fun, even when you're just talking about it still, and you can remember all these moments and things happening like you just watched it.
Right.
Yeah, my favorite part from the movie is where Marty's like, excuse me, you're biting my butt.
No, I'm not. Okay. I still remember that one. I think it's the fact that, as you said, it was really different at the time. You know, the biggest thing they had first was Shrek. And you didn't think, you know, they could top that or have something just as iconic as that. Then they get Madagascar. And it's such a movie concept you never thought about ever happening with a bunch of animals. You know, it's always trying to escape to the wild because that's where they belong. But in here it's the reverse. The animals want to go back to the zoo. They like being pampered. That's the home.
Speaking of Shrek, here's another fun fact. The Spanish voice actor of Shrek also voices Marty in Spanish.
Oh, what?
That's
Okay,
crazy.
cool.
It's like anime.
I'm gonna tell you more. The Spanish voice actor of Prince Charming in Shrek, the Shrek series, voices Alex.
Oh my gosh.
It's like anime.
Yeah.
It's happening.
And the voice actress of Fiona in Spanish voices Gloria.
Oh,
Okay.
wow. So it's almost like everybody from Shrek show up in Madagascar in Spanish.
It's anime. I think this movie was really popular because if you think about it, they had 4 types of personalities that normally wouldn't get along. You had the neurotic Melman,
Right.
you had the self-absorbed Gloria, you had, as I said, Marty, who was crazy as heck, and then you had Alex, who was the mastermind, and he enjoyed the attention and the kids and the steaks and everything.
Right.
And you had these 4 types of people that technically they claim should never get along and never be together, and they were all together and all getting along in this movie.
Right. Oh, good point.
And it worked perfectly.
Yeah.
And then 2 of the ones you wouldn't expect to get together, the neurotic and the self-obsessed girl, they
Right.
end up getting together.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And I do think also that a great voice cast, you know, at least for the English version, really made it work. You had, you know, Ben Stiller, Chris Rock.
I think, who's one married to Will Smith? Was it Jada Pinkett Smith?
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah.
And you had David Schwimmer.
Yeah, that was it. That was the last one. Yeah, all of them fit perfectly. And then on top of that, they always reference maybe the things they were in or SNL and stuff. So you always were like knowing the inside joke. Is like how these animals know about all these entertainment things. It's like, well, because they're from New York, so of course they know about the entertainment business.
And then for King Julian, you had Sacha Baron Cohen.
Yeah.
And then you had Cedric the Entertainer for whatever.
Maurice.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they had like people who were top line and great in live action. And then for I think 4 or 5 of them, actually 4 of them, this was the first time doing voiceovers. Not Chris Rock.
Right.
And not Ben Stiller. But for, the other 4, they hadn't done animation voiceover.
True.
So it was worked out perfectly.
Yeah. And then hearing Andrew tells all these people from Shrek in Spanish,
Right.
voice them in Spanish from Madagascar, it's insane. So they're stars too.
Yeah.
I've seen the whole Madagascar series in Spanish, and I recognize the voices.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. That means you're a true Madagascar fan.
That's
You can recognize it internationally.
Yes. Like I said, it's almost like anime. How, you know, you love it and then you hear the voices and you know them. So for Andrew, knowing all these people,
Yeah.
it's the same.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's basically like that.
So then you have, you know, where it gets to the film is that another thing about it is that to me it's a little bit like Barnyard, where it's a really goofy concept, a really goofy movie, but it gets to a point in the film when you're talking about, you know, friendship, and like Barnyard was about, in the core of it was about responsibility. This one about friendship. When it gets to a certain part of the movie, it stops being such a goofball film when it gets towards the end, like when Alex starts losing control. He's really trying to eat Marty. He doesn't want to, so he distances himself, isolates himself far off. He doesn't want any of his friends near him because he could eat any of them. And it really like takes a turn where it's not like really like morbid or anything, but it's just like it really started to take itself seriously, but it didn't feel like it was too over the top or it messed with the theme. It really meant that he was such a great friend to him that he didn't want to risk, you know, ending him just by being near him, and he couldn't control himself.
Right.
So it really put in how strong their friendship was, that he was willing to do that so Marty would be safe.
And then the wild brought out the wild.
Right.
The message like they were here and they were, you know, civilized.
Right.
And then they went to Madagascar and it's like, woo!
I remember the wild.
Oh yes! Don't forget that Disney tried to rip off the film with The Wild.
Step, pivot, no.
The step, kick, pivot, kick, walk, walk, walk. Oh
Yeah,
yes,
they failed. We watched it, but no,
Yeah,
it didn't match up.
Right, Madagascar is the true original. You can't beat that. You can't even copy
But
it.
hey, who's gonna pass up a chance to have William Shatner as a wildebeest?
Right.
Nothing, and I mean nothing beats Madagascar or Dreamworks.
Yeah, that absolutely. So now from here on out, you have, as you said, 2 other movies in this regular franchise, a spin-off with the Penguins, both series and movie, and a Christmas special.
Yes.
A King Julian spin-off, a Baby Madagascar
You
spin-off.
say chibi.
Right, and it's just like, wow, it's just crazy how far this franchise has come just by this one film, and still having things to show, still being hilarious all these years later.
And you wish other studios would copy or emulate them keeping with the, as I said, the momentum. If they had at any point stopped and allow it to die down, they wouldn't have had so many successful projects. And them staying with the momentum and going from project to project and making sure that each sequel still has some bases in the original and didn't fly off the handle and go way to, oh, they're in Britain and Sherlock Holmes, like what the heck? You know, doing something that just didn't make any sense. They stayed with the original concept.
What kind of movie are we watching?
And that happens with so many other movies that have sequels. You're like, what? Where did this come from? But no, they were smart to stay with the original concept, no matter what they did. Even with the penguins and it getting goofy, the way the penguins were in the original movie is how their personalities stayed.
Right.
Again, they didn't become British emperor penguins or some other
Right.
Japanese emperor penguins or something.
Right.
They stuck with what worked.
Right.
So, do you guys think there will ever be a number 4?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you know, I could see him doing maybe one more. We know the third one ended with, you know, they've been through together so much together. They're like, you know, maybe you don't need to go back. Clearly, the zoo's doing fine without them. It's like they can just.
I have an idea for if Madagascar forever happens. Like, want to hear it?
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
What if Alex and Tia have cubs?
Oh, that would be interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be interesting to see. How would that turn out? They both got entertainment parents.
Or if they went back to where it all started.
And Marty finds love interest throughout the film.
Yeah, because they almost did something with that. I think they did a Valentine's special when they were.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, when they were still in Africa. They started something with that, but I don't think anything ever came of that.
And then the
Yeah,
other 2
yeah.
are the love
It
interests.
was only because of the love potion, that's why.
Right, okay. So, yeah, I could see that do like, again, I have to say like anime, do like start like some sort of next generation thing.
I was gonna say he's now LeVar Burton.
I'm
sorry.
I can totally see a next generation from My Hero Academia.
Yeah, right,
Yes.
that too. So yeah, that's a pretty good concept, because usually that's kind of in right now, doing next generation series after big shows or movies are done. So I could see Madagascar doing something like
And I
that.
think it will work, definitely.
Like Boruto, or like Naruto.
Right.
Naruto.
Exactly.
Yeah, and imagine what the Cubs would get into because now you've got all this technology, you have the internet, they could become big stars overnight now. So it would be an interesting concept to see that with the modern day.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So, if you guys have seen Madagascar, and we're sure you have,
Right.
let us know what you think in the comments below. And if you haven't, it's definitely available to own, which we do.
Yes.
And can you stream it on any streaming service?
I think it's on Hulu. Is it on Hulu?
Peacock.
Peacock, okay.
Okay.
And you can at least stream the holiday specials on Netflix still.
Definitely. And if you haven't seen it, you really should get all 3 movies and sit down and have a laugh fest the whole day.
Yeah.
You'll really enjoy it. It is some top-notch comedy, animation, just one of the best things Dreamworks has ever come out with.
Yes.
You really need to give it a watch.
Yes.
And thank you so much for Andrew for coming and featuring with us on this podcast.
Yes.
You're welcome. It's an honor to be here. So yeah, thank you. You're welcome.
Yes. Oh, and please don't forget to subscribe to Andrew Flores.
And visit his channel.
Yes, to see all of his content, his spoofs, his Rascal Family content, all that. Oh, and Spider-Man stuff.
And his Rascal Sona is...
I have been uploading Spider-Man content because for in honor of No Way Home.
Oh, yes,
Awesome.
yes. And his Rascal Sona is Deku or Izuku from My Hero Academia, if you want to know his little icon tail.
Yes.
Yeah. My Rascasona is playing Tobey Maguire Spider-Man.
Ooh,
Okay.
nice one.
Yes.
Okay.
And my Gotcha, you guys know what Gotcha is?
Yes.
Yes.
Art Dragon, yeah.
My
Yeah.
Gotcha Sona is playing Tom Holland, and my Animal Sona, which is Black and White Rainbow Dash, as Andrew Garfield.
Ooh.
They're in the multiverse.
Cool.
Okay, great idea.
Yes.
So, be sure to like, subscribe, and notification will updates on future podcasts and more to pause videos.
And stay tuned for another podcast later when Andrew joins us for...
How to Train Your Dragon, the
Yes.
first one.
That's right.
Yeah.
All
So-
right. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I'm Rascal Entertainment.
I'm Mom Entertainment.
And I'm Andrew Flores.
Have a toontastic day.
Peace.